9 women entered a mansion for work one Tuesday morning. By midnight, all 9 had vanished without a trace. No bodies were ever found. No evidence left behind. Just a secret tunnel hidden beneath a New York estate for over 40 years. What those maids discovered would eventually lead to one of the largest federal investigations into organized crime in state history, and questions that remain unanswered to this day. This is the true story of the Valdoria Estate disappearances. The Valdoria Estate sits on 12 acres in upstate New York. For decades, it served as the family home of the DeMarcos, a family with deep roots in the region's business and political circles. To neighbors, they were philanthropists. To federal investigators, they were something else entirely. November 3rd, 2019, a Tuesday that would change everything. Maria Castellano had worked as head housekeeper at the estate for 16 years. She knew the property well, every room, every closet, every corner, or so she believed. That morning, Maria arrived with 8 other housekeeping staff for a routine deep cleaning. The DeMarco family was traveling abroad, leaving the estate empty except for external security personnel. Around 10 a.m., according to later testimony, Sophia Rixai, one of the younger staff members, was working in the second-floor library when she noticed something unusual beneath a Persian rug. The rug had shifted, revealing what appeared to be a seam in the floorboards. When Maria was called over, they discovered the seam formed a rectangle with brass hinges and a recessed handle, a trapdoor that neither woman had seen in years of working at the estate. In her later statement to authorities, Maria recalled her hesitation. "I told Sophia we should report this to our supervisor, but curiosity got the better of us." They opened the trapdoor. Stone steps descended into darkness. A smell drifted up, damp earth, aged wine, something metallic. The 9 staff members gathered at the opening. Maria knew they should have stopped there, but human curiosity is powerful. They went down. The tunnel was old, Victorian-era brick construction with arched ceilings. Gas lamp fixtures had been converted to electric lighting. It stretched into the darkness, wide enough for 2 people side by side. Wine racks lined the walls, bottles covered in decades of dust. Just a wine cellar, Maria thought initially. But 200 feet into the tunnel, it split into 3 directions. That's when they found the first door, heavy, steel, with a modern electronic lock that seemed out of place in a century-old tunnel. That door was locked, but another door to the right wasn't. What they found in that room would set off a chain of events that none of them could have anticipated. The room was approximately 12 by 12 feet. Filing cabinets lined the walls. A desk sat in the center with equipment that appeared recently used. According to later FBI reports, the cabinets contained extensive documentation, surveillance photographs, financial records, and organizational charts dating back decades. If this case is pulling you in, hit that like button. This story gets more complex from here. Maria opened one of the drawers. Inside were manila folders organized by year. One folder from 1987 contained photographs of individuals whose names would later appear in federal investigations, people connected to corruption cases from that era. The notes were clinical: dates, locations, outcomes. Sophia opened another drawer. More files, port workers, union officials, public servants. Each file documented in similar fashion spanning 4 decades. Alina, one of the senior staff members, later told investigators, "We realized these weren't just business records." But it was Rosa who found what prosecutors would later call the most significant evidence. In the desk's bottom drawer, she discovered a ledger, pages of financial transactions showing money flowing through construction companies, waste management firms, and pharmaceutical distribution networks. The documentation suggested the DeMarco family wasn't just connected to organized criminal activity. According to federal prosecutors, they were allegedly running a sophisticated operation disguised as legitimate business. And then Sophia made a critical decision. She pulled out her phone and began photographing documents. Cell phone records would later reveal that at 11:47 a.m., Sophia sent a photo to her boyfriend with a message. That transmission would prove crucial to the investigation, but it also triggered something else. According to court testimony, the estate's security system detected unauthorized cellular activity in a restricted zone. The tunnel had been equipped with sensors specifically designed to alert if anyone accessed certain areas. The Maids had unknowingly triggered a silent alarm. By noon, according to security logs, multiple vehicles were en route to the estate. By 12:30 p.m., they arrived at the property. The staff members were still in the tunnel, documenting what they'd found, when they reportedly heard the trapdoor close above them. Then the lights went out. 9 people, trapped in complete darkness, 200 feet underground. Cell phones showed no signal inside the tunnel. The only sounds were breathing and the distant drip of water. According to one theory presented in court, Maria called out, asking if someone was there. She identified herself and explained they were staff members who had simply been cleaning. No response came. For approximately 20 minutes, they felt their way back through the darkness, hands on brick walls, moving toward where they remembered the entrance. When they reached the stone steps, they found the trapdoor wouldn't open. Multiple people pushed. It didn't move. At this point, according to the prosecution's timeline, panic would have set in. Then footsteps above them, multiple people. A voice came through, calm, measured. "Ladies, I'm going to need you to step back from the door." Maria recognized the voice as Vincent DeMarco, the family's heir. What happened next depends on which version of events you believe. Narrator. 3 days later, 9 missing persons reports were filed. The Maids had never returned home. Their vehicles were found in the estate's employee parking area. Purses, phones, personal belongings, all left behind. The families contacted police immediately. Maria's daughter filed the first report, then Sophia's family, then 7 more families, one after another. The DeMarco family expressed concern and cooperated fully with the initial investigation. Security footage showed the staff members arriving at 9 a.m. through the service entrance, but there was no footage of them leaving, no footage of anything unusual. When investigators requested access to the library where Sophia had allegedly found the trapdoor, the family granted permission immediately. The rug was examined. The floor beneath was solid wood. No seam, no hinges, no door. The tunnel, according to architectural plans filed with the county, didn't exist in official records. Drop a comment with your theory. What do you think happened that day? The next part of this story is even more unexpected. The case went cold. Despite extensive searches and media coverage, no trace of the 9 women was found. Families held vigils. Private investigators were hired, but months passed with no answers. Then, in early 2022, something changed. Federal agents had been building a case against the DeMarco family for years, an investigation unrelated to the missing persons case. It involved racketeering, money laundering, and allegations of conspiracy spanning decades. On March 15, 2022, federal agents executed warrants at the Valdoria estate. Using ground-penetrating radar, they discovered what families had insisted was there all along, a tunnel system beneath the library floor. The trapdoor had been sealed with concrete and covered with false flooring that matched the surrounding wood. The tunnel itself had been cleaned extensively. Wine racks remained, but the rooms beyond were empty, filing cabinets removed, equipment gone, documents destroyed. But investigators found something the family had missed. Behind a removed filing cabinet, wedged in a small gap, was a cell phone. Sophia Rixey's phone. The battery was dead, but forensic specialists recovered the data. 17 photographs. Time-stamped November 3, 2019, between 11:47 and 11:51 a.m. Images of documents, ledgers, and records that would become central evidence in the federal case. That evidence corroborated what the families had been saying all along. Vincent DeMarco, went to trial in September 2023. Federal prosecutors presented the case that he had been involved in a conspiracy connected to the disappearances. The argument centered on the timeline, the evidence, and the motive to protect decades of alleged criminal operations. The defense argued there was no direct evidence of harm. No bodies had been found. No forensic evidence of violence existed at the scene. The women could have fled, could be living elsewhere. The case was circumstantial. The jury deliberated for 8 days. They returned guilty verdicts on multiple counts including conspiracy, RICO violations, and obstruction of justice. Vincent DeMarco was sentenced to life in prison without possibility of parole. Additional family members and associates faced related charges. The organization collapsed under federal pressure. But to this day, not one of those 9 women has been found. Not Maria Castellano, who had a daughter about to graduate high school. Not Sophia Rixey, who was planning her wedding. Not the 7 others whose families still wait for answers. 9 people who went to work one Tuesday morning and never came home. The Valdoria estate was seized by the federal government and sold at auction. The proceeds went to victim compensation funds. The DeMarco family's alleged criminal empire, built over generations, collapsed in months. Dozens of associated investigations opened. Corruption cases spread through local and state government. The ripple effects continue today. But for the families of those 9 missing individuals, there's no closure, no graves to visit, no final goodbyes. Maria's daughter, Isabella, now advocates for missing persons families. She runs a nonprofit that helps others navigate the difficult process of searching for lost loved ones. She told reporters something profound. "My mother mattered. She wasn't just a housekeeper. She was a human being with dreams, with family, with a life that meant something. These 9 women deserve to be remembered as people, not just as a true crime story." And she's absolutely right. This case exposed not just alleged organized crime, but systemic issues in how missing persons cases are handled, especially when the missing are working-class immigrants who may be invisible to broader society. The tunnel beneath the Valdoria estate was eventually filled with concrete and sealed, but the questions remain open. Where are these 9 women? What exactly happened in those hours underground? Will their families ever get answers? If this story moved you, please subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. We cover cases that don't always get mainstream attention, stories about real people caught in extraordinary circumstances. If you think someone needs to hear this story, share it. These 9 women deserve to be remembered. Their families deserve to know people care. What's your theory? Could they still be alive somewhere? Do you think justice was truly served? Leave your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one, and I want to hear what you think. Thank you for watching. And remember, behind every true crime story are real people, real families, and real pain that doesn't end when the verdict is read.